What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Chasing That Paper, and thanks for joining us on a Friday. I am Steffi Smalls, filling in for Mr. Joe Osborne. We have a little bit of everything for you on the show today. Iain MacMillan will join me shortly for some MLB bets and a college football play. Then we're going to move into our topic of the day, which is the 2022 NFL loves and fades we have. Because if you have not heard, the NFL season's finally almost here. 6 days away, and we're going to head right into the NFL season. Last night's bets didn't go so hot, but we're not going to dwell on the past. We don't do that here at Chasing That Paper. And I'm going to bring in my friend Iain MacMillan, senior editor at VegasInsider, to set us straight heading into this weekend. What is going on, Iain?
Yes, hello, Steph. I am moving on from last night, not only with my bets, but also with the Blue Jays. I'm wearing my Blue Jays uniform. We need to turn things around. Like I said, both of my picks and the Blue Jays. The loss to the Cubs last night, not good. So, thankfully, the Blue Jays have a series against the Pirates. We can turn things around. We're heading into the weekend, going to turn things around my bets as well. I can't wait to get into it. Got a couple of good plays for tonight.
Yeah, we got the Blue Jays shirt on, no sex shirt. What do you have for us today on the MLB slate?
Yeah, I'm actually not going to bet on the Blue Jays game. I'm going to look in a different direction for my first pick here. I'm going to look at the Rangers and the Red Sox, and I have a first 5 play. I'm going to go first 5 innings, over 5 runs at minus 125. This might actually surprise you, but since August 1st, no team has scored more runs in the first 5 innings than the Boston Red Sox, racking up 94 first 5 inning runs over the past month. And the Rangers, surprisingly, are actually right behind them, scoring the 4th most runs since August 1st in the first 5 innings at 83. And for all season, they rank 10th and 11th in that stat. So if you're looking for a first 5 over bet, these are 2 good teams to target. That's especially the case when the Rangers put out Dallas Keuchel, who is on his 3rd team this season, and he has an 8.84 ERA. He absolutely stinks, and he's even worse in the first 3 innings of these games. He has an ERA of 10.44. I don't know, I'm no math expert, but I don't think that's a good ERA to have. Nick Pivetta will be starting for the Red Sox, and he's part of a rare group of pitchers that actually pitch worse at home than on the road. On the road, he has a 3.98 ERA, but at home, his ERA goes up to 4.83 with a 1.445 whip. So I like the first 5 over 5, minus 25 tonight between the Rangers and the Red Sox.
I like it. Dallas Keuchel is a hell of a name, but now you have a play coming from the Cardinals game. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is my best pitcher prop of the night. I'm going with Jordan Montgomery over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 45. Jordan Montgomery has been pitching extremely well since leaving that dumpster fire of a franchise in the New York Yankees. And he's already faced the Cubs twice this season. The first time was actually when he was still with the Yankees, and he recorded 5 strikeouts. He faced them again a couple weeks ago as a member of the Cardinals, and he racked up 7 strikeouts in a 9-inning complete game shutout performance. And actually, his strikeout numbers as a whole have gone up since joining the Cardinals. With the Yankees, he averaged 8.2 Ks per 9 innings. 7.6 Ks per 9 innings. That has gone up to 8.2 Ks per 9 innings since joining the Cardinals. And there's a little cherry on top here for this pick. The Cubs have not been good in the strikeout department. They actually have the 7th highest strikeout percentage in the majors when facing left-handed pitchers at 23.8%. So I'm going to back Monty tonight. Jordan Montgomery over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 145.
I like it. Let's talk a little college football. Week 0 was kind to my bank account, but I'm off to a bad start here in week 1, going 1-2 last night. Thank you, CMU, for covering the spread and saving me, but get me back on track. What's your play for college football?
Yeah, I passed on week 0, Steph. I did bet last night in week 1. I went 3-1. I was with you on CMU. That backdoor cover certainly helped. So I'm looking to stay hot tonight. I'm going to take Illinois on the money line as small underdogs, even money against Indiana. I don't think it can be overstated how important it is that Illinois has already played a game this season. They played in week 0 and crushed Wyoming. And I think that's going to do a lot for them in terms of ironing out any wrinkles, getting their team chemistry going, getting rid of any preseason nerves they might have had. And Indiana is coming into this game. This is obviously their first game of the season. They're going to be a little raw, a little green, and I think that's going to cause them to have a little bit of a slow start tonight against Illinois. And I just spoke about how Illinois did play in week 0. And in that game against Wyoming, their defense absolutely dominated. In fact, they allowed the fewest yards per play amongst all teams who played an FBS team in week 0, allowing just 4.2 yards per play. And I think their stout defense is going to cause a lot of issues for Indiana's offense, because if you look at last year's statistics, Indiana ranked 126th in the country in offensive yards per play, averaging just 4.1. So sure, yeah, they added some, weapons on offense through the transfer portal, but you're not just going to add a couple of players and go from one of the worst offenses in the country to a competent offense. So I think the Illinois defense stuffs them tonight. I'll go ahead and take them as short underdogs on the money line at plus 100.
I like it. Illinois won me some nice money there last week, so I'll be tailing you and running it back with them. But finally, let's talk some NFL. I am so excited that this season is finally going to kick off. We have the Bills and Rams kicking it off next Thursday in LA. That being said, it's time to lock in some numbers here. Let's talk about our loves and fades. Why don't you kick us off in Kansas City with one of the plays you love?
Yeah, this is a play I absolutely do love. It is one of my favorite futures of the year, and it's for Sky Moore to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at 12-1. I don't think there's really any other rookie that might be stepping into a better situation than Sky Moore. Obviously, it doesn't even have to be said. He's going to have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL throwing him the ball, and he should get some opportunities, because right now their wide receiver depth chart looks like Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and Mecole Hardman. If Sky Moore can even play halfway decent in the first few games, he's going to get a good portion of those targets thrown his way, especially with Tyreek Hill now in Miami. So at 12-1, I think he's got to be the best value bet on the board. So I'm big on Sky Moore. I have him in both my fantasy leagues already. I have a third draft today. I'm probably going to take Sky Moore. I'm all in on him this season.
So am I. I cannot get enough of him in fantasy, and I love that play. As for me, everyone will be so surprised. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. A little bit of a 2-for-1 here on a Friday. Joe isn't here, so I am going to have to gas them up independently, since both of us have put our faith so heavily into them. If you did not hear, Mike Zimmer is gone. We have Kevin O'Connell, very offensive-minded guy. I like this Minnesota Vikings team to reach the postseason as a wild card, plus 260. Kirk Cousins, super disrespected. You've heard me say it before. A little bit of a vanilla quarterback, but still can normally get the job done. Can't always finish the games, but that's okay. Currently, they are sitting at 9.5 for their win total. I like that easily to go over there, even if you doubt Kirk. The Vikings should have no issue getting to 10 to 11 wins. I have them at 11 wins and getting themselves at minimum a nice wild card spot. And as for my 2-for-1, so the freebie here, which is quite literally free, is Jay Jetta's Justin Jefferson total regular season receiving yards, 1,349.5. Smash that over at minus 115. He is coming off of a 1,600 plus yard and 10 TD season. And if you didn't remember, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2020. That season, he had a 1,400 yard and 7 TD season. He did this all under Mike Zimmer. Now he's going to have his first offensive-minded coach that he's had in his entire NFL career. I think the Vikings are in a really nice spot, and I can't wait for them to embarrass Joe and I come the season. But back to you, Ian. Joe's not here, so we can also set the record straight on those Miami Dolphins. What do you have for your fade?
Yeah, I waited for Joe to be off the show for me to just trash his Miami Dolphins. So that's what I'm going to do now, because when I was looking at the list of win totals for this upcoming NFL season, the one that jumped out to me was the Miami Dolphins, who have a win total of 9. And I don't know why people are, giving them this amount of credit. Let's not forget that in terms of net yards per play, the Miami Dolphins were tied with my Atlanta Falcons last season at minus 0.47. Did they do enough to now all of a sudden be a 9-win team? I certainly don't think so. My main concern actually isn't Tua. My main concern is the run game. 31st in the NFL last season in yards per carry at 3.5. I know they beefed up their backfield, but I actually don't think it's a running back issue. I think it's an offensive line issue for the Dolphins. So pair that with the fact that their defense is average at best. And first-year head coach Mike McDaniel. Are we sure that he's going to be a good head coach? Nobody even knew who this guy was until he went viral last year with a couple of funny quips during a press conference, and then he all of a sudden gets a head coaching job. Like, do we know this guy is good? I'm not so sure. I think 9 wins is an absolutely insane total for this team. So I'm going to take their under, and that's my favorite win total bet of this upcoming season.
I love it. I think that the second that these Dolphins face a little bit of a challenge, Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill, they ran their mouths a lot, and the media is going to come back at them very hard if they do not live up to this expectation that they are laying. For me, one of my favorite, I'm also going to do a win total here, and we're going to look at the Chicago Bears. Little confused here why they're getting a lot of hype to be the next Bengals. I love Justin Fields just as much as the next person. I think that he will have success. He had himself a very nice little preseason. But let's be serious. The Bengals 2021 roster is incomparable to what the Bears have this season. We don't like to talk about injuries. We don't like to predict injuries. So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to say is we have seen what happens when you have an atrocious O-line, one of the worst receiving corps in recent memory, and a mobile quarterback. I can see them getting to 5 wins. They have a fairly easy schedule, and Justin Fields, as long as he's on the field, I think he can get things done for them. 6 is far too steep for me for a team. 13% of this roster has been on the team for less than 3 days. They've got a new coach, late bye week, no Khalil Mack, who is one of your best edge rushers and players defensively. Tough division. I think their splash is coming next year. Give me under on the Chicago's win total set at 6. Not a fan, not doing it with the Bears. I think everyone's a little bit drunk and in love with Justin Fields. How are you feeling about those Chicago Bears?
I feel the same way. Yeah, you can't compare them to last year's Bengals team. I mean, I don't think Byron Pringle and Darnell Mooney kind of match up with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins of the Bengals last year. So yeah, Justin Fields might eventually be okay, but they're really feeding him to the wolves this year with no offensive line and no receivers. And usually the Bears defense is good enough to kind of carry them to at least, close to a 500 record. Not necessarily the case this year. Their defense is really average at best and probably worse than that now that they don't have Khalil Mack, like you mentioned. So yeah, I actually have a bet on the Bears to finish with the worst record in the NFL this season. So I agree with you now.
I love it. And they went and picked up Leatherwood. Former Raider, first round pick, didn't even have him as a second day grade when I was looking at those guys back then. So interesting move, not really protecting the Bears there. Who has a worse? You think the Falcons end up having a better season than those Bears, huh?
Yeah, I mean, at least the Falcons have some weapons on offense. They have Drake London, they have Kyle Pitts, they have Brian Edwards, who's kind of a sneaky, decent number 2 receiver, and they have a decent defensive secondary, especially AJ Tyrell, who somehow, by the way, completely off topic, but how did AJ Tyrell not get ranked in the top 100 players in the NFL? This guy's a top 3 cornerback, and he wasn't even in the top 100 players. Disrespect to the Falcons. They'll finish at least 2 to 3 more wins than the Bears this season.
And Matt Ryan wasn't the number 1 overall top player in the NFL. I'm sure that upset you too. But any final notes before we get out of here? It's a Friday. Talk to me.
It's the last weekend before the NFL season. Let's all relax. Let's place a couple of college football bets. Let's bet on MLB while we still care about it. And yeah, let's relax because starting next week, it is all NFL all the time, at least for yours truly. So enjoy your weekend. Let's win some bets tonight.
Let's do it. Everyone, make sure you have a couple drinks, bet some football. You got college football, relax. And we'll see you guys next week on Chasing That Paper. See ya.